Hey guys, so this is my All-American video review. I have a lot to say, so hopefully it won't take up too much time or too much video. But yeah, I made a review on iTunes, which I'll show you briefly if I can find it. Probably not. Oh, here we go. That's mine. That says, "Can I be honest for a second?" That's me. And I kind of want to elaborate on that post in this video, sort of, because it's all my real feelings. Now, like I said in the post on iTunes, I am 100% supportive of Nick Carter and everything he does, and I will always be supportive. But I want to give a real honest fan's opinion on this record. And for me, it didn't do it. Like, I didn't really feel the record was what it could have been. I know what Nick is capable of making for a record, and this was not that. I feel like it was rushed. His management kind of stepped over the boundary of his producing and said, hey, you're doing this, and release it now. And I didn't like that kind of happened. I mean, I'm not for sure that really was the case, that his management took over. I don't know. But it just seems like a thing they would do, that they would overstep their boundaries and tell them, you're releasing the album at this point. If it's not done, who cares? Throw some songs on it and call it a day. And that's kind of what he did. He threw some songs on an album that weren't really for that album and released it. I mean, the songs by themselves individually are great. They're phenomenal. But I just feel like they weren't meant for a record of like this. Because here you have two rock ballads, sort of rock songs. One that I love with Avril Lavigne. Love her. And then you have the rest of the album as like a pop ballad sort of thing. And it's like, okay, how do you combine that with this? Like, if he had maybe have the record, like had a half rock, half pop rock sort of thing, it would have all worked. But he threw a bunch of love songs into a rock album, and it just didn't do it for me. I'm like, no, this isn't you. This is not the true you. I know you, Nick Carter. This is not what you want to put out there. But you were somehow, I think, forced to put it out there. Like, he recorded a bunch of stuff, and then, like, he had to go and surf through all of it and throw it on a record and say, hey, here you go. I think he did say at one point he wanted to extend the release of the record, and I was cool with that. I was like, yeah, take as much time as you need, man. I mean, I'm all for it. But then I think his management team was like, no, you're releasing it on this date, and that's that. Do what you gotta do to make it happen. And it kind of fell apart. Like, I don't want to say it was a hot mess, because that's not really what it was. What it for me was, it was like pouring outdated milk in your mashed potatoes. That's kind of how I kind of feel like this record went. It was just like, no, can't do it. I love each song individually, like I just said. So for that, I can't say it was a terrible record, because it wasn't really a terrible record. It was just the content placed on this type of record wasn't what I thought it should have been. I know what he's capable of making. I know this wasn't what he wanted to put out there, I'm sure. But hey, he's happy about it. I'll support it. I'll be there for you. I'll see you at your show in Boston on March 13th. I'll support it. I love it. You're amazing. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm just like, he could have thrown those songs on a different album and it would have been great, and then added more of a rock vibe to this record, because for me, All-American, I feel like an All-American vibe is like a rock vibe, because that's kind of how American to me feels like. So I was expecting a lot of rock and a few pop things, but nope, it was two rock songs and a bunch of ballads that made no sense to the All-American vibe. So yep, that's my feelings, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What are your reviews? How do you feel? Hopefully you didn't take this as me being a negative person towards Nick Carter. I love him, he's amazing. I'm just saying that I know what he can do, and this wasn't what he could do. And I hopefully on his next solo record he'll amaze us and go above and beyond this and take as much time as he needs. Management, if you're seeing this, you let Nick Carter do what he needs to do. He knows what's best for a record, and pretty sure he could have done something cooler. I'm just saying. But anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have the album. If you don't have the album, go buy it on iTunes. I mean, just because I have mixed feelings does not mean it's not a good album to buy. It's great. The songs are amazing. I'm just saying that they weren't meant to be all on this one record. But if you listen to them each individually, they're amazing, phenomenal, great work. I love you. Goodbye. And thanks for watching. Comment below with your feelings. Comments, whatever you want to say. Bye!